core crypto people that I basically, turned on to this new poster. They're like, dude, I'm learning so much about real estate and like his posts are fire. And I'm like, you guys realize I've been posting about real estate for like 2 years now, right? Like, I mean, granted, it's only once a week and amidst all the crypto and stocks, but still, like, come on.
Gualter Amarelo, that new poster on
So the moral of that story is now Galter's forced to continue to post on Leo Finance about real estate because now there's some big dogs on Leo that want it.
Content. He doesn't have the content that he could put up there.
Definitely doesn't have the content. Doesn't have like
I'm not running out, guys. I got more. I'll create it.
Go digging in the archives, baby.
There's an abundance of content that I can create. I'm putting so much knowledge.
Awesome.
Listen, the worst part about being a regular content creator is when you get on something and then you run out of all your archives of stuff you've been writing for the last like 3 or 4 years, and you're like, crap, now I have to do new stuff. I always listen. I have this theory about musicians, especially hip hop artists. Their first album is always their best album because it's like the best of like the 5 years before they made it. And then after that, it's like, oh, I need all new shit in 1 year. And it has to be like fire, like all the, like, no.
I get it.
So my secret is I'm writing a book, and I have 5 books to write over the next 3 years. So I got these 5 books. So I got a ton of content I've just got to create anyway. And so I just take those and I drop them into
100%.
blogs.
Every chapter is a blog post.
It honestly, it's becoming like every third of a chapter or every quarter of a chapter is a blog post.
Yeah.
And just like drop them in.
Exactly what I did with both my books.
Awesome.
Smart.
Yeah. Both my books are scattered on Leo Finance somewhere.
I
was talking to Brenda today, and she definitely has a book in her. We were just talking about her story, and after I did that Take the Stage thing with Mitch, Take the Stage, which was a great 3-day program. And I'm just talking to her, and we were just saying we need I got my hell yeah too. We just need a title for the book. So I was saying, and I was also saying, get a bunch of index cards, like get 100 index cards.
Title of the book right there. There you go.
Yes,
get 100 index cards and write down title every day. Just write down some concept, because you can just see when I talk to Brenda or she talks to her sister, she has this big drive to be a coach. And then I was watching Gary Vee in one of the posts, I think, and he was saying, just give away the book, give away tons of your books.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So
that's the one thing about live events that I miss is like, I got 20 something copies of my book that just been sitting around because I'm like, I can't give them away. There's no live events. Like I would give away my book at every, like the RIA that I hosted. I would get in one of my books amongst some other people's was always like giveaways for the raffle, and then, bring them to the meetups. And
so Brenda's got a really interesting backstory. She's like single mom, and she was also food stamps and all sorts of crazy stories. So
far, this sounds like my mom's story.
Yeah, right. Look, they created you. Nice job. That's awesome.
Yes, I remember the food stamp days. Those were interesting times.
She's like a survivor. It's just a cool story. I just think people would be interested in it. And there's a lot of good lessons there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
But Mike, I think that you're right. She probably does have a book in her, and it's time to get right in it, man. It's time to get
today.
Do it.
The index cards.
Time to get her to start writing that thing, because look, the graveyard is got the most value, the most wealth in it, right? I think Luke Brown said it. There's more value in the graveyard because all the ideas, all the thoughts, all the things that should have been are sitting there. Yeah, people never did it.
Right. So I'm gonna keep pushing her on it.
And then, I mean, you mentioned earlier, they talked about on Take the Stage a lot, title. Like, I knew title was important, but like now I look at it completely differently. Like all my titles are way too just not eye-catching enough or polarizing. So, the 401k book that I really just have to write one more chapter and it's done because it was done. Like, I have to come up with something better than just like winning back your 401k. It needs to be like
Like Larry Wingate with
How to
that.
put 6,000, like 6 figures back in your 401k.
Or grow a pair.
Yeah.
That one. Greatest.
If that isn't the name of your book, you've messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I knew they were important. I knew titles were important. That's why I broke to $250,000 was I spent a lot of time on it.
What about, everybody's doing the swears with the asterisks in it? Like, you fucked up your retirement. How great would that be? Your retirement blows
and
your own fault.
Here's what's messed up.
Fuck yourself. There's a lot of controversy.
It's way more acceptable now.
Right.
Yep.
I don't think you could get away with it 10 years ago. Putting
me and Mitch Durfee were talking about, you got to put the word rich in your title. He's like, look, it's worked for 100 years, right? The best known books all say rich.
So when we were in Take the Stage, they broke us out into groups, and I missed my breakout, and because I had a closing, and I came back in, and I was in a breakout group with Terry Wager just by luck.
That's crazy.
So I was just going to blow it off. And Terry's like, no, Mike Shine, do one 60-second statement. Shit, I don't know what to say. I wasn't even here. I'm not prepared, whatever. He's like, just do it. So I started with the statement. I said, I didn't know I was a millionaire until my friend told me I was. And I just thought it was kind of crappy. I really didn't say anything because you're the friend, Gualter, by the way.
I figured it out.
And
good line though, grabs people interest right away.
But that's my point. So I finished and I really kind of stumbled through the minute. But afterwards, everybody in your little group had to give you constructive criticism. They all loved it. They were all like, well, and I'm trying to analyze it afterwards. It's only because I said I'm a millionaire, and they all want, because the whole Take the Stage tells you that you can talk about your story, but it has to relate to them. And as soon as I said I'm a millionaire, they were like on it. It was crazy. So I learned something. I just learned something from that.
There was something else that you did that you may not have noticed is you said, I didn't know I was a millionaire. And so it implies to them that they could be too.
True.
So there's a subliminal.
I didn't think of that. That's awesome.
Man, good thing I wasn't in the room with you guys. Mine, I would have got torn apart. I was so basic.
We gotta get the kitty cat thing and be like, stop being such a pussy and buy some real estate.
There you go. I like it.
Brought to you by Scaredy Cat.
I like it. I'm going to teach you how to be the opposite of a scaredy cat. We're going to turn you into a courageous cat.
Courageous cat branding.
Courageous dog. I used to be a scaredy cat. Now I'm a brave dog.
You know what's what my coach mentioned to me years ago? He said, because I told him, I was like, yeah, I teach this. And he said, no, what you really do is you teach branding. He's like, you've changed your brand. Like if I told you you're going to do this, like suddenly everything about you changes. You're pushing all in one direction. You can change your brand pretty easily, right? Like branding is one of the simplest things to change, but it's most powerful, most impactful thing.
So valuable. I'm really, I don't know if it's envious, but I just love the fact that you have that ability because it's something that
Well, it's transferable, right? Like one week you're the holistic attorney, the next week you're the closer, right? Like that, it's just, you just start talking about it and suddenly it becomes what it is, right?
Yeah. That's so good. But yeah, I feel like Mitch, we can remake you.
We can make
you
stronger.
I mean,
because you're actually not a scaredy cat. You're out there and you're actually taking big risks. And you're on the forefront of crypto. And then we're like, oh, let's talk about Bitcoin. You're like, well, actually, I have 12 coins. We're like 12 tokens. Like, what? I don't even know.
I wish I had 12 Bitcoin. My life would be very different.
Like, dude, you don't even invest in your own state. Like, you invest out of state. Like, who does that?
You wouldn't be hanging out with us. If you
this is true.
You would not be hanging out with us.
Dude, it's all relative, though, because the bottom line is, you know what, though? I'm always fighting that inner scaredy cat because there's a reason that I have, 1/10 of the amount of Bitcoin that I should probably have given when I got involved. There's a reason I have probably 1/10 of the amount of Tesla I should have.
I was going to say Tesla. Real estate. Even real estate, you should have 10 times more.
The book that I sent you.
I'm scared to take the big swings.
Listen, the book that I sent you, Louise Hay, Fix Your Life. I got to find the name of it. But that book, I sent you it on YouTube. Listen to that.
Yeah, the one that Gualter texted, right?
Yeah, listen to that book because it addresses exactly that. And in the first chapter, it's stuff we've all heard before. I'm not saying it, but the way she said it is so simple that you suddenly get, oh, okay, things when I was a kid stopped me, whatever that is, you know? It's
true.
Huge. My wife's dad passed away when she was 12. He had a heart attack, and she was upstairs, and she went downstairs before they took him out in the ambulance, and somebody stopped her. Somebody stopped her so she couldn't say goodbye to her dad. And to this day, that affects her, and it really focused her compass because she said, I'm not listening to people in the future. I need to trust my own judgment and do what I can, because she just wanted to give her dad a hug, and she wasn't allowed to think about what happened because of that.
Yeah. We are all products of our childhood experiences.
Yep. Exactly.
I mean, and when you're aware of it, like you're already ahead of the game. Doesn't mean it's fixed, but you know, like I know why I look at money the way I do, you know, because of the way I grew up and because of, you know, the influence of my grandfather. And it was like, he was a Depression era baby and I grew up poor. So it was scratch and claw and hold on to every penny you can and don't risk it. And so
there you go.
So
that's all the new. I was saying to Gualter the other day, or maybe you were on the call too, but I was saying that this community and you guys and all the coaches have changed my whole mindset. Like, I definitely look at affirmations and I say things like I'm a money magnet and I do stuff. But in our group, it is not tolerated to whine, complain. It's not like it's not done with a gentle touch. I'm not saying we're jerks about it, but we don't smile. When we're sitting there in the community and somebody says something that is not empowering, we point it out. Especially if Terry Wager is on the call.
Yeah, it's like,
you're not getting away with anything.
That's cute. You said you need to. Actually, you want to. You're going to.
Right. Did you have that thing with Jill Ripley where?
Yeah.
What did you? I forgot what
she corrected me, right? I was like, it's very cheap. And she's like, it's not cheap. It's affordable. Oh, you're right. It is affordable.
Expensive.
Let me get back to Louise Hay. The book is called You Can Heal Your Life. And it's you can find it on YouTube for free. It's so you can listen to it. But boy, it's one of those books that kind of like Science of Getting Rich. Brenda just finished it and she's going back and doing it again because there are exercises in there, including affirmations. And that's what's really changed for me, the way I talk about myself. And that's why the significance of Gualter saying I was a millionaire, because I didn't even know. And then when he said it, there was like a paradigm shift. Everything changed. And I said, wait a second, I've got worth, I've got value, I'm successful. It just thank you. Bless you. So awesome.
Of course.
Boom.
Yeah. Boom.
So when we look at everything that's happening, right? When we talk about everything that's happening, where the market's going, like there's one consistency that investing in makes sense, and it is yourself. It is invest in yourself, because when you invest in yourself, you can do the big deals. And if we were to do a deal right now, like the only kind of real estate deal I look at this point is, can I make $1 million on this deal, this particular deal? Not like, will real estate eventually make me $1 million? It's
what is that? Just explain exactly what that means, $1 million, like, because I'm buying 15 units that are probably worth $1 million.
Right.
Not really making $1 million on that.
Correct. So say I go in, I'm doing a syndication deal, right? Because now I have two reasons to do a syndication. One is everybody's asking me to. And the other reason is it's an easier way for me to go and do a bigger deal, right? It's a lot of ego to be able to say I got 400 or 500 units. Like it's just fun for me to be able to say that. But it also,
Dan Zatowski, sorry, but that point that Dan said, who has at some point had like 6,000 units or whatever.
600, yeah.
600, but he had all the toys and everything. What was his point?
His point is that it's not about units, it's about cash flow. It's about cash flow, how much you make.
And what does that mean? I mean, I know what cash flow is, but it means you need better assets that
more
money.
It
So
means
does
it's all
a
about the
unit,
Benjamins, baby.
it's all about the Benjamins. Does a unit in Boston that pulls in $3,000 a month equate to a unit in Fall River that's pulling in $1,000 a month? No.
Yeah, no,
So
not at all.
units is irrelevant. It's cash flow that matters.
He's really looking at better assets, basically, right? Is that
What he's looking at is better debt service, better asset. He's looking at the bottom line. He's looking at cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. Because units are irrelevant. I have one building that has 18 units in it, but it makes me the same or less than my 10-unit building, right? So I have a 3-family that pulls in the same amount of money as that 18 unit.
Well, and I think the key is you're saying about the debt service, because when you go over $1 million, there's all those plans out there that will give you like 3% interest or something crazy like that.
Right. Once you get past the million, once you get past 20 million, it really opens up. Like once you're past 20 million.
Why is that? Why on a $20 million building do they give you interest at like 3%? Like what's
because they're borrowing the money at 1%.
Gotcha.
So
it's just such a nice amount that they just want to make the 2%.
The spread can be smaller because the size, I mean, they're making good money.
And they don't care about the risk there as much.
The other side to it is, so when we go and do our deals, right? Like if I said to you, hey, Mike, you're getting your money back in a month, in a year, you know, you'd be excited. If I said, Mike, I'm not giving your money back for 5 years, but we're going to double your money. Right now, you're like, oh, hold it for 5 years. That means there's no interest. So when you're investing on larger scale, you got people who are giving you money for 5-10 years. There's no interest. It's we can buy this thing. We can
equity position. They're just holding for 5 to 10. Nice job. I got you.
You've eliminated the bank, and you're now using your own cash essentially, and it's basically just a bigger entity that's operating out of cash.
Not the hard money lenders that are lending the 20 to 25%, or with COVID the 30%.
Yeah,
they are okay with having other people bring the 25 to 30% to the table. Like
they don't typically like it. So if you do it as a partnership, they're fine with it because now everybody's got skin in the game. They don't typically like it. Even like when we do it, they're like, oh, I would have liked for you to have brought your own money. And it's like, well, you know, it was my money for like a month, and then I went and raised the capital.
They don't like it. Sorry, I stepped all over you, but they don't like it, but they allow it. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
So in most of the cases, we're bringing our own money up front, and then we just go and raise the capital afterwards and we get our money back.
That's my question. If the day after, if you put a second on and get your money back, is that something that the first lien holder has a problem with?
Oh, absolutely. They don't like it at all because now you got no skin in the game. And so there's a concern for them. So it's definitely
because I feel like with syndications of $20 million buildings, they know.
Oh yeah.
They know that it's not your money.
Because there's equity in it. So everybody who does have money in it has an equity position, has an equity play. You have a responsibility, and your hands are cuffed by the SEC, right? So they know that you have to deliver. And if you don't manage this well, like you're in trouble. You're in trouble with the federal government, the securities.
The Reg D is that's the SEC saying, I forgot it says something you don't have to do, which is you don't have to have shares or
Regulation D is so that's private placement memorandums where you can you're not publicly traded, and you can sell companies, you can sell portions of the company, and you can raise capital that way. And then it's the 50C3 and no, that's different. That's what is
yeah, I think it's the 503, right? 503C and B.
C and B, right?
Yeah, C and B. Yep, 50C. Yeah, 50C3 is different.
Let me look it up.
Is it 50? I thought it was 503. Maybe it's 508. It's 5 something.
Tax code.
I thought it was 503B and 503C were the two. I could be wrong.
Let me see. Is
well, 503 is nonprofit. So.
Yeah, that's what.
Oh, so it's not 5. It's 5. I could have sworn it's 5 something though.
It's so funny. Guaranteed, the syndication guys are gonna watch this and be like, "What the fuck, guys?
Yeah. Like, what is this, amateur hour?"
Yeah, this is amateur hour. Syndication.
That's where we're going in the future. No, there was a guy who did a podcast, and his whole thing was that he was a networking guy, and he had no experience whatsoever, and he would just get these experts to come on, and 2 years later he's like an expert in networking because so we're just talking about private placements. We don't know
There you
yet,
go.
but we're getting there.
Yeah, very soon. Wow, how can I not find that?
506B.
506.
506B.
I was close.
There it is.
It's only 3 numbers off.
And the
So-
B is the people you know and have a relationship, and the C is they have to be
Accredited investors.
All accredited.
investors. Yeah.
B is accredited and up to X amount of people that that are sophisticated investors that you have a relationship with.
36
Yeah.
people.
That's
I
it?
believe.
It's a maximum of 36 people?
So 36 people that are not accredited. You have to have a relationship with them, and you can have 36 that are not accredited in a 506B.
Nice. Good to know.
I learned that with our conversation with your attorney,
Oh yeah, Brendan Smith.
Brendan Smith.
No, it's one of the things I learned from Matt Pitchney, who does the Boston RIA with Darina.
Yep.
Was
the Massachusetts multifamily network.
Okay. But what he said is that he's been doing it for a while, and before he ever was the general partner, he was the
LP, the limited partner.
Limited partner in a lot of deals, which was valuable to me because I always sat there and said, I don't want to be a limited partner because they're the ones they're only making 8%, but
yeah,
I didn't want to, opportunity costs with my money. But that was a great thing. If you put your money in there as a limited partner and ask if you can watch, learn,
Well, just by being involved, you're always going to learn more. So that's why I thought about doing jumping in the one that my friend Annette's a part of, that one I showed you guys in Columbus. Same thing. I'm like, opportunity costs of money. Like, I know I can do more with this money myself right now, but I also don't get that experience of being involved in a syndication, even as an LP, which you can leverage going forward.
So this is the reason we're doing it. I've been interviewing a lot of guys who are running syndications, trying to find out who's running the best ones. And so Rod Cleef, I'm definitely jumping into one of his. Matt Pitchney, I'm definitely jumping into one of his.
If I can piggyback on that. So I'd love to learn. Yeah.
And Mike, all this just made me think of, I got to follow up with her, but there actually might be a Florida Palm Beach County multifamily property that we might be able to join up with 2 others on, because I think it's like mid $2 million range property. So down payment.
I always watch on your feed. There's a woman, I think I've mentioned her before. Is it Krista Fluke?
Oh, Christine. Yeah.
Yeah.
She posts, she posts like deals she's brokering, but she also posts like deals in the news as well, just to kind of like share and help people keep a pulse on the market.
Maybe we can get her on this podcast and the 4 of us can talk, because I don't know. Even if they're not her deals, it seems like she has a pulse on those type of deals.
Yeah, Christine's good people. She's one of the many awesome people that is involved in a lot of the meetups down here, and especially the South Florida multifamily and more.
I like it.
In fact, Darina may have even met her in person, because the first time I met her was at that Jake and Gino event when I met Darina a little over a year ago.
Yep. I Instagram with Christina often. So back and forth.
We'll be right back. Give me 1 minute.
Yeah.
Sure, Mike.
But yeah, because Mike wants to apparently start grabbing real estate in Florida, since he wants to go that direction. So forces migration, because I talked to him about partnering on deals in Rhode Island, and he's like, I'd rather do something in Florida. I was like, okay, let me get on that.
Yeah, that is like, to us, the better direction to be in. Especially the larger multis. The larger multis, the inventory is there. It's not here.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that. I think there's more multi-inventory up in the Northeast, but I guess it depends on what size you're looking at. There is a bunch of bigger stuff here. That medium to small size multifamily, there's not a lot down here.
Right.
You see that up in the Northeast a lot more.
So like here, if you want, like in the Northeast, so technically today I'm in New England again. And so here we have 3 units, to 12 units,
Yeah,
like
all day long.
relatively available. Like 3 to 6 is really what like everything's made up of is 3 to 6. But when you get to, you know, finding 40 unit buildings, it wipes right out, right? 50 units, 100 units, like every city maybe has 10.
Yeah.
Whereas I was looking in Tampa, and just a little corner of Tampa has 10. And throughout the whole city, maybe there's 100, maybe 200 of these large 100-unit complexes.
Yeah, way more of that down here.
I was just thinking, I was like, really?
Back in a second.
Buying a 5-unit in Gardner? What the fuck? That is fucking boring.
Oh, your guy?
No, you. I'm just saying.
I'll be back in a second.
You said Mike wants to buy in Florida, and I'm like,
Mitch, where are you going? Look at him. He runs away as you start grinding into him.
Let's think about it. Come on, how boring is that? Come on, like a 5-unit in Gardner now. I don't want to do it anymore. You know, I don't want to.
That's the point. Like when people bring me the deals, I'm like, dude, like I'll do it if I can flip it, but I don't want to hold those. I just don't want to hold three families. I don't want to hold 6 families. Like
I want to do something. And actually, Brenda was like a year ahead of me. She like a year ago said, I want to do bigger stuff. I said,
yeah,
like I don't see the point in this. And then I had read Grant Cardone 10X, and I totally agreed with that. You know, just go get something bigger.
Right.
And we can have our own little syndication. We've got the wherewithal.
I was talking to Ron.
What's the person called a promoter who's not a guarantor? What's he called? There's a main guy who puts up their account to say they're worth X amount of dollars.
Oh, key principal.
Yeah, but there's another name for it. But it doesn't mean you're guaranteeing the loan, but just that you step up in the front to show that there has to be someone with like a high net worth.
It's not the key principal.
I don't think. Sure? I mean, I know it's not. There's another word. It might mean the same thing, but I can't think of it.
Okay.
But
yeah, I know. I for some reason that term always eludes me.
This episode I know people of the podcast is literally our.
This is the Amateur Hour podcast brought to you by Alchemist Nation and 100 Millionaires podcast.
So it's absolutely crazy that. So when you guys figure it out, let me know.
Yeah.
But well, no, I know, like for instance, my buddy Jamie did it on a deal. Like he got equity in a deal just for basically putting up his financials.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's what it is. Yeah.
They're talking about when I went to that Boston meetup. It wasn't a meetup thing, but they said that there are people that get like 10% for absolutely doing nothing. They're just high.
This is exactly what.
So
what
my
he
coach is Charles Dobbins, right? Like, and he talks about that all the time. He's like, hey, look, if you need somebody, I'll jump in on a deal like that, or somebody in the community could jump in on a deal like that. And Ron and I are in a position we could do that. Any one of you is in a position, right, to do that. But I was telling Ron the other day, I was like, look, like I'm pretty sure I can raise $2 million just within 5 or 6 people within our community, right? Like just our coaches, right? We have that capital where we can go and raise 2 million pretty fast. I know Ron and I can bring about half anyway. And like there's other people in the community who are sitting on a bunch of cash. So like we don't really need much else to go and do deals. Like we just keep growing and doing what we're doing and educating other people as they rise up the ranks. In fact, I just sat with another one of our students who's sitting on a ton of cash because they're learning, they're growing. They've been working with me for the last 3 years. We've known each other for 3 years and give advice here and there. But now they're at the point where it's like, okay, I've got this capital. What do I do? So I think that we
call Mr. Worski and he shows you how to invest in real estate.
Bam! And they got real estate. They got a bunch of buildings that like.
Oh, nice.
People are doing well, and this community is attracting those people. But now it's like, how do I? Same with me. Like, I had my own portfolio, right? I ran a portfolio that was doing perfectly fine. I think it was 22 units before I joined up with Ron. And once I joined up with Ron, I was like, dude, I don't want to own my portfolio anymore. I make just as much money, but I do no work. By being invested with him. And so I sold pretty much everything in my portfolio except for this one building.
I figured out the word, by the way.
What was it?
Sponsor.
There it is. Damn.
Sponsor.
But you were right, Gualter, because it was under key principles as well.
Key principles, sponsor. So that element we have that covered. we have the cash covered, we have the knowledge covered. It's literally just go out and do bigger deals, just doing it in larger partnerships.
Find that deal.
Yeah. I haven't even looked. To be perfectly honest.
It's so funny.
Mike.
You said in where you are staying, the apartment you're staying, Gualter, because my friend Tom and his wife Trina moved down like a year ago before COVID because his dad was his health was failing. So, but he lived in Tampa. They moved to a place called Dunedin.
Oh yeah,
near Tampa. And oh my God, when I went to visit, they just had an apartment, but it had the same thing. Really nicely done apartments, 2 bedrooms with a garage for your bikes and stuff like that, parking spaces and a weight room and a swimming pool. And I was like, man, I just want to buy. And then they even had some commercial, like retail out front too. I was like, that's what I want.
That's the stuff.
You know, like units.
The complex I got rented is 462 units. Like, it's probably a $40-50 million complex, but
awesome,
cool. Like it's beautiful. Like it's so open. There's 28 buildings that make it up. Like it's just so cool to walk around all of it.
28 buildings.
28 buildings. When I looked at it from the sky map, I was like, I got to count by twos, right? 2, 4, 6. Like,
I mean, the thing is, that's like standard issue for Florida in terms.
No, that's why I don't want to do a 5-unit fucking Gardner.
I don't. Who said I don't have a 5-unit? That was your boy that you called my doppelganger. That's buying a 5-unit.
You have like Tim up there looking at like 2 units.
This guy. So, that's why I said you need to come in this 27-unit in Palm Beach County that my friend has.
I'm very interested.
We got to figure out if it's doable. JV with 4 people, done and done. If the numbers work, I don't know. We'll see.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
I like it. We're moving in the right direction. That's what I'm hearing about all this is we're moving in the right direction where we're doing the right deals.
That's a great point. That's a great point. I was saying this community because even just being here is moving me in the right direction. Like every day with the books and the affirmations and the ideas and even the whole Bitcoin and crypto thing, I had but now I own 3 different tokens and it's moving me in the right direction. I even know what a token is.
Right. You know what the blockchain is, you know what a mask wallet is, right? Like got the MetaMask wallets.
Hey, can you explain, Mitch, what mining Bitcoin actually is? Like what are these miners actually doing?
Guys, I got to jump off in about 10 minutes. So, you're gonna
I'm with you on that. I got a hard stop at 3 the latest. I got money coming to me. I had to take phone calls. There's people bringing me money. You got to love when people just come and drop money off to you.
Where are you going to be in for Thanksgiving, Mitch?
I'm actually going to shoot down to. So my brother just moved to Florida last week.
Yeah.
So I'm going to shoot down to Miami, check out. He got a short-term rental while he's figuring out, where he's going to end up working. But the short-term rental he got is straight baller. It's right on the Intracoastal, like 59th floor of the building. His balcony's got a view of the water.
He's in a skyscraper.
Yeah,
I want one of those.
Opera Tower. So I'm going to shoot down there. And we're going to do Thanksgiving together. And then I got a couple of buddies I haven't seen since before COVID that live in the Miami area. So we're going to probably all meet up for a drink after everyone's done dinner with family and whatnot.
Awesome. And you, Gualter?
I will be with my family and then driving back. So tomorrow is Thanksgiving. And then I plan on leaving the family around 7 to 8 o'clock and starting to drive down to Tampa. So half of my Thanksgiving will be on the road.
Epic road trip. Honestly, the funny part is, had my brother not moved down last week, I probably would have done the road trip with you. I would have
you would have been welcome.
Let's do it,
Red Bull's Monster Energy drinks.
It would have been 20 hours of Red Bull and brainstorming. And the problem is, by the time we got to Florida, we'd have like 7 more business ideas.
7 new businesses.
We need to hire more VAs.
Yeah,
that's it. Oh.
This portion of the podcast is brought to you by Red Bull and Monster Energy.
What are you talking about? No, Alchemist Energy. It's coming out.
Alchemist Energy. Oh, I love it.
I was invested in a company called Celsius for the longest time.
I love Celsius.
Go from $21 to $31.
Nice.
And yeah, no, I love the idea of an energy drink. It's like a healthy energy drink.
Yeah, that's cool.
I probably should still own some of that, but I took $34,000 to do a refinance, and so I'm pretty glad that the return on investment on that refinance is there. So it
Yeah.
was worth it. But I wanted to mention this to you guys before I jump off. And for everybody who's listening,
Well, we're jumping off too at the same time. So
hell yeah.
It's night before Thanksgiving. I'm going home to hang out with my family and get ready with all the fixings except for the dead turkey. So
Will all the kids be there? You got the whole family coming together?
all 7 of us are going to be there. So it's awesome.
The
neat thing is that Sam and Hannah really sort of have matured, and so they're helpful and fun, and they're like adults. So it's not
they weren't fun before.
They had like the teenage,
Angst.
Yeah. Like they don't want to know you. Like, can't be bothered. Yeah.
So what I wanted to mention.
Great kids. I'm #blessed.
#love my kids. Yeah. I'm blessed. So before we jump off, I want to talk to you guys about inspiration that hit me as I was obsessing over Elon Musk this day, yesterday, last night on my flight in. And I realized Elon has not made money, right? Has not earned money through Tesla from 2003, the day it was formed, till 2018, 2019, did not actually make money for an entire decade.
Wow.
Hold on to that thought. More than a decade, it did not make money, and yet the stock rose, and yet the investors believed in it.
Yeah.
So there's something to that. And I'm working on a concept.
I remember that with Amazon, same thing. I used to buy Amazon in end of November every year because I knew that everybody was shopping on Amazon. Before Amazon became everything, it was Christmas. People would use it, and they would never make money, and all the Wall Street analysts would get mad because he wasn't making money.
It's fundamentally broken. It's wrong.
And Jeff Bezos did the same thing that Elon's do, just burying that money back into the company.
Yep. Yeah. And so they have assets, things that are working, things that are going. Yep. And as soon as somebody disbelieves them, they just go find more belief somewhere else. Hey, that's all right. Your money, take your money back. That's fine. We'll get somebody else's money.
Yeah.
And, it's like, is it a Ponzi scheme? No, that's how you build a massive business from nothing. Right. That's how you build a massive business. You go out and you add value, and you create perception. Say, hey, look, your money's not going to be worth much today, but 13 years from now, it'll be the literally one of the #1 stocks, right? We'll make it into FANG. And
if you listen to, there's a guy out there from Long Island named Ron Barron, Baron, who's an investor.
Long Island, those guys are a little shady. Those Long Island guys.
Investor in Tesla, believed in Elon. He always tells the story about all these people were analyzing Tesla, but nobody had ever been to see Tesla. Had never gone to the factory, had never done anything. And when he went there, he invested, and he's a billionaire, multi-billionaire, and he believed in it. So he put his money out there without seeing profits, but could see.
And it's the same with Warren Buffett, right? Like Warren Buffett has never delivered. Like he's never gone and like paid a dividend. All he's done is add money.
Grow the snowball.
Yeah.
Grow the snowball. Right now he profits a lot, and he operates off fundamentals, but it's about growing the snowball. And that's what I've discovered is kind of the future where we're going is if we can go and so Ron and I have this obsession with robots and automation and being able to deliver housing cheaper to people. And he and I have been looking to 3D printing of houses. And
I saw that in England like 5 years ago. If you're listening to this, go on.
They did one in Texas also.
It's so cool. I saw them build a house with the speeded up video of the 3D printer building a house. It was like low income housing, which is really nice because you could make it so much less.
And with the dollar going down in value, the inflation, we see that low income housing, like everybody's moving into low income housing, right? We're seeing mobile home parks go up in price. We're seeing anything that's affordable housing go up in price.
Yeah.
And so we see that the curve is that, hey, look, people are going to need a place to live and they're going to need it as cheaply as possible. So he and I are working on how do we make it as inexpensive as possible with very little to low, maybe no management that could be managed by robots in a system, so that there's no overhead, no payroll involved, and automate the entire process. And like that's like once we've nailed it down, that's really where we want to be. That's the kind of real estate I want to own.
I was out in South Dakota once, and I was driving back to the airport on a rental car, and I pulled into this gas station, and there was no attendant.
Perfect.
So you pull in, you have a credit card, and if you don't have a credit card, you don't get gas. But it was out there in the middle of nowhere, because it was like the middle of freaking South Dakota on the way to the airport. And I got gas, and I said, this is the greatest invention ever.
This is perfect. All you do, check up on the thing once a week, right? Like,
yeah. And the gas companies would bring the gas at the time. You don't even have to be there for that.
There's a meter to say how much is in the tank. Like, Mike, I and Mitch, like me and Ron made a commitment about a year ago. We fired all of our employees. Not fired. We let them go. We asked them to leave, and we said we'll never hire employees again. Everybody from now on is an independent contractor, and we operate from 1099 world, and that's it. And commissions, project based, like that's how we operate. We never want to get stuck to this. Oh man, like we got to keep them busy.
Yeah.
Like if a company is no longer providing service to the marketplace, I don't want to have employees for it, right? Just continuously run, income and expenses side by side, always moving.
That's so cool.
So it fits him and I, our personality for investment, which is it's got to not involve us, and it's got to not involve other people, and we just want to add value. We want to add value to the end client without having anything in between.
So tell me how 3D printed houses fits into this vision.
So it's not just 3D printing. They've got to be able to be maintained and repaired through robots, right? Like you can't have to go and fix a plug by sending the maintenance guy over there or a plumber over there. There's got to be a technology beyond just like, it can't be like these old houses, right? It's got to be modern. It's got to be a style that's exactly the same, every single one of them, cookie cutter. For the people who want luxury, they're not going to like that. But for the people who can't afford anything better, thank God, right? So no, there's a plan behind it, and there's something he and I are working on to build it out. But that's like, if I'm going to own $1 billion worth of real estate, I want it to be the real estate that's going to last like decades, centuries, like the stuff that'll be around forever, and it's the real estate of the future.
Can we do it in the desert?
Absolutely, that's where it has to be, right? That's the only place that makes the most sense, because out in the desert they don't have as many regulations. Those states don't require different building materials to be used, so we can utilize different building materials. But here's, Mike, you're gonna like this. When Elon's ready to build his housing out on Mars, what do you think he's gonna use? A 3D printer and robots.
Yeah, right.
I just want to be on the forefront. I just want to make sure that we're already proving it down here.
Yeah, so you just do it out in the Arizona desert. You get it all happening with, hopefully it'll be with the HVA systems from Tesla, because those also have air purification and water purification.
Why reinvent the wheel, right? If it's already designed and already working, I just want to plug it in.
And the solar and the battery pack.
Replacing Mother Nature.
Yeah, and then you can just take that and figure out how to get it to Mars, and it's wow, that's a great idea. I'd love to be a part of that.
100%. Like that, like I was thinking about it, I was like, dude, like I would literally hand over all my real estate to jump in on this. Like I could get up in the morning and like spend time with engineers working on this, like I could do that.
Yeah.
So I got excited about it. So that's, we're rating it up, and we're connecting with the people who own those things. It's a big company that owns them out in Arizona and Texas. They develop them. So we'll see. We'll see.
You develop the 3-dimensional built low-income housing?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So they don't do it in low-income housing. They do it for fancy people with their big Adobe houses and stuff. But they produce the machines. And once you got one,
I'm going back on YouTube after we get off in 4 minutes, because I want to watch him build one of these things again.
Oh, it's wild. It's absolutely wild.
Mike's going to build a 3D printed guest house in his backyard in Rhode Island.
That would be so often. Brenda and I always talk about putting a yurt in the backyard.
A yurt, yep.
Yurts. Some of them in like California are like luxury yurts with like fireplaces and all sorts of really cool stuff. So we say, the backyard, wouldn't that be great? Just throw a yurt up.
Just go out there and meditate in the yurt, right? Like you just got the space.
Just imagine if you could do the 3D print where you hit enter, boom, and it just starts going. Oh my God.
6 hours later, it's done.
Yeah, that's so
drop
good.
it in place.
He does
right?
he does like guest on demand when people come visit. They show up at lunchtime, and at lunch he's, what do you guys feel like sleeping in tonight? Oh, he just, yeah, let me just put it in the computer, and it just starts building in the yard.
A Scottish castle. That's so awesome.
All right, gentlemen, I've got to jump off to the next call.
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
Grateful for both of you guys.
Grateful for both of you guys. Absolutely.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Where's my head?
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
When you have a choice.
Always
work with the best.
Passive income from passive income.
Yeah, sign us out, Mike. Hey, Mitch, what is your saying?
I have too many.
What do you
Organizing